Would those not sitting down like to sit down? I'm trying to get EBLIDA's vice president to behave herself. Yeah. She called me a troublemaker at our board meeting, so I had to get my revenge. They've given me a bell. I've always wanted a bell at a conference, and it's because we're trying a new concept this year. New for us. I think many of you may have experienced it before, but it's our lightning talks. So we have 12 speakers down here who will have 5 minutes each to present on a topic. That's not a lot of time, so we have to be very disciplined, and that's where the bell comes in. So when 4.5 minutes, more or less, have gone of the 5 minutes, I will ring that bell, and I will have the possibility to ring it 12 times. It's going to be such fun. To save time, so I'm not introducing each speaker as we go through, I'll ask the first speaker to come up in 10 seconds' time, present herself and the title of her presentation. Let's take it away. Judith.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. So I'm Judith Gerencse from Hungary, representing the Association of Hungarian Librarians, and it is going to be a real challenge, the 5 minutes challenge. So let's start. So you can see that I'm going to talk about the new roles and new functions of libraries and librarians in the 21st century concerning lifelong education, lifelong learning and education and innovation. I would like to talk about this topic concerning 3 topics: the trends, the challenges and the solutions. With the help of the first slide, you can see 25 future technology megatrends and predictions. They are really important for the libraries and the librarians. And I just would like to highlight the red expressions because I think they are really important concerning the libraries and the librarians. Robotics, drones, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, digitalization, social media, and so on. So I think they are really, really important. And when we are talking about the new technologies of using them and the industrial revolutions, I would like to mention that they are significantly transforming the labor market and the competencies which are needed from the employees. So imagine the situation that you would like to tell your children what kind of job they should choose in the future within 10, 15 or 20 years. It's really difficult to tell them what kind of competencies are needed. So that's why I think that the role and function of libraries are becoming even more valuable, acquiring and mastering the new skills and competencies. So that's why it's really important that the learning supporting and quality of life improving role of the libraries are unquestionable in the 21st century. Then some words about the challenges. I think it's really important to say that the libraries and the librarians have to redefine themselves, their roles, their functions. And when we are talking about this changing world, we have to mention the changing needs of the users. So the users and the patrons are in the middle of our universe, and also we can say that the users are the drivers of the change and innovation. So what is the ideal library in the 21st century? A library guided by the community and users' needs. So when we are talking about the new technology, we have to renew our infrastructure, operational conditions, optimizing internal library workflows, and we have to modernize our services. And it's really important that we have to be in a constant dialogue with the users, because I think that the user is not looking for there and know in that way what the librarian thinks. So that's why we have to pay attention to this fact a really, really important way. And last but not least, what are the solutions? So I would like to mention that we need new competencies. We have to mention that not just the librarians, but also the users. So we have to train ourselves and also the users. I have mentioned these important topics. What is important too, that we have to be open during the 24 hours during the day. And I would like to mention that the role of librarians is constantly evolving with the spread of digitalization and information technology. And we have to pay attention that you could see on the slide, because cloud computing, robotics, mobile technology, artificial intelligence are really, really important in our lives. And during the networking sessions, I would like to suggest to talk about these topics, because I think they are really, really important in our life, and when we are talking about using the new technology in the libraries. And last but not least, I would like to mention what are the major tasks of libraries in the 21st century concerning education and lifelong learning, community engagement, embracing innovative new technologies, supporting lifelong learning, and improving the quality of life. And the last slide, it's a picture. So you can see that when we are meeting with critical things, risk, for example, when we are talking about AI, it's really important that it's not a threat. It's an opportunity to deal with. So that's why we are here, and we would like to have a very wonderful future. So we have to work with this. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for your interest and your cooperation. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Holger Krimmer, and I work for the German Library Association. So let me look for my presentation. Great. So my topic for the next 4 minutes and 29 seconds is how can we gain more attention from decision makers in politics and also in the media for library issues, with the aim of giving libraries a much more central role, not only in cultural policy, but also in educational, democratic, and social policy. So, first of all, the initial situation in a few words is, on the one hand, libraries are institutions that can make a huge contribution to solving current social challenges. I'm not going to list any of them here. We discussed them up and down here in Riga and in lots of other conferences. On the other hand, the outdated image of libraries, especially in Germany, that many citizens, but also many decision makers in politics still have, prevents us from placing our topics more prominently in the public sphere. The result is that new political strategies are constantly being developed that also address our topics. But libraries are not even mentioned in most of them. We have to change that. Central question is therefore for me, what opportunities do we have to anchor a contemporary image of libraries in society and among politicians quickly and sustainably? And how can we use this to convince decision makers that it is not always necessary to create new institutions and reinvent the wheel, as we say in Germany? Here are two examples of how we are proceeding in Germany. First, campaigning. The Night of the Library is one of our most important campaigns and took place last Friday. The campaign was prepared for more than a year with a team of 3 of my colleagues. We asked all of our members to put on events on this evening and provided them with promotional materials. We also set up media partnerships and did a lot of press work. As a result, 1,800 libraries took part. There were 4,000 events throughout Germany. There was a lot of coverage on television, radio, and in the major daily newspapers, and there were more than 10 radio interviews with representatives of our association. So far as I can say, the campaign was a full success. A second example is personal conversation. And I'm purposely choosing a very contrasting example here. Here you can see Elke Büdenbender, the first wife of Germany, the wife of our federal president, talking to Volker Heller. Perhaps some of you may know him, the head of the Berlin Central and Regional Library. We set up these talks to gain acceptance for a change in the law that we are calling for. The aim is to ensure that public libraries can also open on Sundays. Germany, the scientific libraries are allowed, the public libraries are not allowed to. Since a pilot project with the state government in Berlin and also Hamburg has already made this possible for a limited period of time, a series of talks have taken place here. Most of these were very successful. In one case, we even managed to convince a head of a large service trade union who was our toughest opponent. The problem with this method is that once we have managed to drag a relevant number of members of parliament into the library on Sundays, the legislative period is over and new members join the Bundestag. So it's a question of time and resources. These are two of our methods. Of course, we use policy papers in many other ways, but my concern is that we need to become much more effective in convincing politicians of the importance of libraries. Because the situation of public budgets becomes tighter over the years, the distribution struggles greater. I think we need to become louder, sometimes perhaps a little less respectful, and more unconventional in our methods. I welcome any opportunity to discuss this issue with you, Fitz. Thank you very much.
So, hello, dear colleagues. I am representing the National Library of Lithuania and would like to address a very relevant topic, how libraries can and should contribute to the media literacy education of our users in the age of artificial intelligence. For a long time, libraries have been centers of knowledge and information, actively promoting ability of our visitors to critically evaluate the information they received. Our library has developed and presented a series of trainings for our readers aimed to help them navigate in the flow of information. One training block focuses on the introduction of e-government services, everyday e-services, also online safety training, which is particularly popular among foreigners, refugees, also the elderly people. The next training block is dedicated to media and information literacy, seamlessly leading us to the use of artificial intelligence in our information environment. Since last autumn, AI training sessions have been successfully conducted at our library and also in public libraries of Lithuania. Some sessions provide a general understanding of AI, explaining how this technology works and highlighting the similarities and differences between different programs. Our focus on the popular Midjourney program, teaching participants how to create images using it. So the number of interesting course participants has increased significantly. These training sessions are not only at the library community, but also at the wider public, playing a crucial role in reducing social exclusions. They provide an opportunity for all citizens to become familiar with the latest technologies and digital resources. In this way, we continue our long-standing mission to educate the public on issues of digital literacy, critical thinking, and responsible online behavior. Of course, we share best practices, create and develop joint training programs, and look for new ways to reach our users most effectively. Also, we must continue this process, and by educating our staff, organize training sessions for our visitors, and collaborate with educational institutions and non-governmental, also the governmental organizations. Libraries remain the most important centers for ensuring information reliability and promoting digital literacy. Thank you for your attention.
Hi all, my name is Tito. I'm librarian at the Zagreb City Libraries in Croatia. Today I'm here to argue that libraries and AI are not opponents, but powerful allies in our mission to provide knowledge and information to our communities. In Zagreb City Libraries, we hold AI and robotics workshops in which we use Husky Lens AI sensors, a great educational tool for introducing the AI technology to our young patrons. The library is also putting effort to educate our staff in the field of AI, in particular through Erasmus Plus mobility that gave me the opportunity to acquire new knowledge and skills in AI. There are a lot of questions about what is AI? Will it replace us? What about creating fake content? Will it steal our personal data, our identities? How can we protect ourselves and our patrons? It is disruptive technology, like Airbnb and Uber taxi, for example. Historically, libraries have faced fears with new technologies, like printing press of Gutenberg, internet, e-books. Each time we have adapted and thrived. We need to know that AI is not created in November 2022 when all this hype about ChatGPT was created. We've all been using AI for a long period of time. Smartphones, translation systems, weather reports, various suggestions and recommendations. So we should see AI as an opportunity to evolve, not an enemy to fight. We can enhance user experience. AI can help us provide more personalized and efficient services to our patrons. We can expand accessibility. AI-powered tools can make library resources more accessible to people with disabilities. Automate repetitive tasks to improve efficiency, to focus on high-value activities that require human expertise. In data-driven decision-making, AI can analyze vast amount of data to help us make informed decisions about our collections and services. We must use the AI responsibly with a critical approach. We can't let the AI systems decide what is good and what is bad. So it is great that we have EU Act on AI, which is here to protect us. Libraries have unbiased access to knowledge, can help shape AI policies, ensuring ethical and transparent AI use. Libraries can train users on AI literacy, fact-checking, bias detection, critical AI thinking, etc. Can work with AI developers to ensure responsible AI in information management. To conclude, AI cannot replace the critical thinking, empathy, and creativity that librarians bring to their work. AI is not a threat, but a powerful tool to improve our capabilities. And it is essential that we invest in AI education, collaborate with tech companies, advocate for ethical use of AI in libraries, and create a greater discussion about all of the aspects of AI. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. I'm Gwenny, and I would like to tell you a bit more about one of our experiments around using AI for the library sector. I work for Cultuurconnect. Cultuurconnect is an umbrella organization tasked with helping the public library sector in Flanders with its digital transformation. And all transformation starts with yourself, which is why a few years ago, we decided to set up several experiments on using AI. Our first ambition was to see if we could improve our work processes by using AI. And for this, we looked at our metadata team, which is responsible for central cataloging in Flanders. Our catalogers make about 25,000 new descriptions every year, next to enhancing and correcting already existing bibliographic records. And like all catalogers in the world, I think they have a mission. Their mission is to create perfectly consistent metadata. Our management, on the other hand, thinks a little differently, as we heard already in the keynote this morning. And they like to see all metadata appear in our databases as soon as possible. And so we arrive at our common holy grail, a perfectly consistent database with bibliographic metadata in the blink of an eye. Besides achieving the holy grail, what were the additional goals of this quest, and could AI help us to achieve them? First of all, we wanted to improve the quality of our metadata by removing human subjectivity and make them more unbiased and consistent. Secondly, we wanted to create metadata in a faster and more efficient way by saving the cataloger's time, saving the library workers' time, and saving the library patrons' time. We were also aware of potential pitfalls. We did not want to compromise on the quality of our metadata. Our methods had to be sustainable on a social, environmental, and economic level. We customized the AI models to our needs and not the other way around, and we were aware of potential black boxes. So how did we begin our quest? First of all, we trained several open source AI models. We used NF as a tool, Robert as a language model, and we also started some experiments using commercial AI models such as GPT. We did it to assign keywords, genres, and classification codes to Dutch publications. While we were working on the AI models, we also decided to explore an alternative track on algorithms by setting up a simple statistic algorithm to predict the same classification codes. During our quest, we also came across a number of dragons, of course. First of all, finding digitally available, high-quality input was a challenge due to intellectual property rights on them. Also, we had little or no experience in the data fields and in the field of data science, and you can never underestimate the value of a good set of test data. And of course, there were training troubles and retraining troubles. And last but not least, there were also unwanted results, like the use of unwanted vocabulary by the commercial models. Luckily, we also discovered some gems. We learned that a simple statistic algorithm often worked better to predict keywords and classification codes. The fact that it is also much more sustainable was a nice plus. We also learned that it was not easy to replace human knowledge in terms of subject cataloging, and we now appreciate the work of our catalogers even more. And last but not least, we improved our knowledge of how to use AI and can now better assess what can and cannot yet be done. But we intend to keep improving our knowledge in the future because technology doesn't stand still. So on our way to the Holy Grail, we put the knowledge gained to use in setting up some other experiments as well. Similarly, we have already experimented with a chatbot, and we want to set up experiments around a demand-driven OPEC. So we're happy to share our experiences, so feel free to talk to us after these lightning talks. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Katarzyna Jarzyńska, and I will present a project about AI in the book publishing market, the BIP course at the University of Warsaw that we prepared with my colleague Renata Rokicka. So where did this idea came from? One day, two lecturers from the Faculty of Journalism, Information and Book Studies at the University of Warsaw came up with the idea of organizing an Erasmus blended intensive program which deals with the most popular topic of AI recently. They wanted the program's results to show artificial intelligence in a positive way, so they asked us two PhD students for help. The main goal of the BIP program is to organize a course that will allow students and academic teachers from different countries to confront the negative opinion about AI in the academic community and present the positive potentials of AI in the modern publishing business. So how did we start? We started the preparations by outlining a working program which we sent to our partners in Bulgaria, Germany, Greece, and Norway. They chose students from various study programs, such as information studies and librarianship, to participate in our project. Also, students from our faculty are taking part in this project. In the meantime, we searched for some sources and AI tools that could be used by students who are working on their individual tasks. Our BIP program is divided into two parts, an online part and an on-site part. The online part already started in March. Participants are divided into 4 groups: distributing information, creative communication, content development, and promotion activity. They will use various AI tools and platforms in order to create different components of the final product. It is a guide for foreign students to the University of Warsaw library. The entire program is an attempt to develop didactic methodology of teaching and learning about AI in an international and interdisciplinary scholar community. It is also an excellent opportunity for international cooperation between students and the exchange of information, ideas, and observation on specific issues. Second part, so the on-site part, which will be taking place in Warsaw in May, there will come for students and academic teachers, and they will get to know the university library from the inside, and also see how the role of books, readings, and libraries is evolving in the context of today's transformative technologies. So how is it going now? We also are participating in the project not only as organizers, but also as full participants. The cooperation in specific teams is going really great. Despite the distance separating students from various countries, they were able to contact each other using some messengers or social media. The views of people from outside, from other countries, their ideas and the diversity of free AI sources and tools have a positive impact on the development of the entire program. What's more, we see that there is also cooperation not only between individual team members, but also between the teams themselves. We are sure that we will manage the disenchant AI's best streak in this way, and the stationary part will be a great culmination of our work, and the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Marcia Castro, and today I will present a project that we have been promoting since 2018 called Fake News Spotted Before You Spread It. I come from a small town in Portugal called Vizela. How do I change this? Sorry. Oh, here. I come from a small town in Portugal called Vizela, and I work at Vizela Public Library. Our concern about online information started a few years ago when we realized students relied entirely on Google for information, copying and pasting without evaluating the reliability. Back then, schools were not yet addressing this issue, and teachers often lacked the knowledge to do so. Moreover, something happened. Imagine waking up to a social media post claiming a priest in Vizela was roasting a pig in a church crematorium. The town erupted in chaos, everyone commented about it, and angry people went to the church to confront the priest, only to find out that the church didn't even have a crematorium. So this incident showed us how misinformation can manipulate and mislead communities. We faced 4 challenges. We are surrounded by digital information, but how much of that information is reliable? Fake news spread quickly, influence opinions, and often go unquestioned. 3, young audiences are digital natives, but not always critical readers. And senior audiences lack media literacy competencies. So we started building a project and the main goal was to raise awareness about this information epidemic and equip participants with the skills to avoid online manipulation. We aim to help students and seniors question online content and evaluate its reliability, promoting informed decision-making. So how do we do it? We work with students aged 10 to 18 and seniors. Our methods include lectures on fake news, confirmation bias, algorithms, artificial intelligence, and deepfakes. We also host workshops on advanced search techniques, fact-checking strategies, and lateral reading. Every year at the start of the school term, we meet with the Vizela Library Network that includes school libraries and define content and classes involved in the project. Since 2018, we have held 98 workshops impacting 2,421 participants. All participants and their teachers are required to evaluate workshops and lectures through an anonymous online survey. And over the years, we haven't received a single negative evaluation. Participants say they feel more informed and empowered. Students have and teachers have requested workshops on related topics, as ChatGPT, netiquette, digital reputation, and online authorship rights. This comes with a new role for librarians and libraries. Providing access to information is no longer enough. Libraries must be gateways to trustworthy information and support users in media, information, and AI literacy. Librarians must be educators, mentors, and empower people to become critical digital citizens, teaching them how to question, verify, and analyze information. This requires continuous learning from librarians as the field is constantly evolving. Final thoughts? I'm the only one hearing the bell. Let me just tell you that libraries are defenders of truth in digital age. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We are from the Finnish-Swedish Library Association from Finland, and my name is Anneli Haapaharju, and here we have my colleague, Mia Karvonen. Mia, what have you done with the reader?
Well, what is shared reading? Well, shared reading has been over 20 years already. It's a method from the Liverpool. And now we have it in Finland. And we are a minority. We speak Swedish in Finland. So now we have, in our association, trained 17 reader leaders in this method.
And with this method, you can use it with everyone. But we have used it with children, youth, immigrants, and seniors.
And what we do is that the reader leader chooses the text. It can be a poem, it can be a novel, a short text. And you really need to focus on the group you will have. If there are children, if there are seniors, you need to focus what are the keywords, what are the topics of discussion. And when we start to read, they listen, of course. We read slowly, that's the method. We take pauses, and we stress some keywords. And now, when we have the new dimensions of the artificial intelligence, we use it, and we can use it to ask, for example, the AI, what could be the good topics? What could be the good questions that I could take into my group? Like, if I know this poem, and I know it good, but do I know it too good? Maybe AI can give me some more topics that I cannot see. And maybe I can ask it, could you tell me something more about this poem? So when I see this group, and we have read it, and they've listened, I stop to read, and then I have my questions, and then they start to talk. They start to discuss. They remember. They have a lot of things to say, and then I ask them to read. Does any one of us want to read this text? Because in shared reading, we want to hear the same text many times, maybe 6 times. If there are 6 people in the group, 6 times would be really nice. So we share the stories. It's a shared community, shared friendship. I worked with a lot of groups with seniors, and I can see the friendships growing. They really love to come every week. It's really strong. They share their ideas. They share their dreams. They share belongings, connection, and the future.
If you want to know more about this, you can contact us directly or our association and websites. But thank you for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's lovely to meet you all. My name is Maija Trail, and I'm a head of the Research and Interpretation Center at the National Library of Latvia. And my topic today is what and how do people read today, and how can we use these data? And do you read magazines from back to front? I do, so I'll start my talk with the conclusion. How can we use data on people's reading habits today and how they are changing? First, our development strategy at the National Library of Latvia is centered around people. And gaining a deeper understanding of our readers and their reading habits is essential for both curating our collections and designing effective programs. Second, we are a scientific institution, and exploring the history of reading alongside today's reading habits is one of the key directions of our research. And this year marks 500 years since the first book in Latvian was published, and national anniversaries like this offer a unique chance to trace the journey of reading across 20 generations, from past to present. And third, the National Library of Latvia doesn't just meet readers' needs, we actively shape future reading habits. And we work with the Ministry of Culture and with Ministry of Education and Science to make a real impact. Every child in Latvia recognizes our library building, but visibility alone isn't enough. We aim to drive real change. But how do we know what and how people read? By asking them. Last year, we made 2 representative surveys, large-scale, nationally representative online surveys on reading habits in Latvia. And we also spoke directly with carefully selected young people, readers and non-readers alike, about their experiences with reading, books and libraries. But we don't stop there. We regularly host public discussions on reading, tailored to different audiences. And the talk you are seeing now was part of Summer Conversation Festival, which is quite popular in Latvia. And 3 things among many we found out. Printed books are still the most popular format among books in Latvia. You can see that last year, 58% of people read printed books, compared to 16% for ebooks, and just 9% for audiobooks. And still, 31% didn't read or listen to any books at all. In our talks with young people, we found that despite growing up in the digital world, many still prefer printed books as a break from screen time. But as we know, the real battle for attention isn't between books, book formats, but between books and other sources of information, entertainment, and more. Our surveys also confirms childhood matters. Those who were never read to as kids read far less now. Nearly half of them didn't read a single book last year, compared to only 24% among those who were often read to. One more insight. Among young people, books translated into Latvian often lack prestige. Many prefer to read the originals, mostly, of course, in English. But one respondent even said, wanting to read Nietzsche in German made me learn the language. So, finally, thank you to those who have already visited. The exhibition is Library a Birthright. One of the themes we explore there is the role of reading and books in today's world. And if you haven't seen it yet, you're very welcome. And it's just here on the ground floor. And I'll be happy to continue the conversation during the network session. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Claire and I'm working for Library Without Borders, which is the coordinator of the Library Bridges project, which aims to foster inclusion for people with a migration background through libraries. So we created this project at first because we noticed that through the different waves of migration, library has acted as a place of refuge. They have developed a set of new competencies and adapted their service to their new audiences, and especially the migrant audiences, especially in Eastern Europe with the recent arrival of refugees from Ukraine. However, we noticed that there is still a certain lack of tools and resources to support librarians in their new duties. So we created this project with the idea to answer a few questions. So how can we define the library's role in an ecosystem of players who work in the integration and inclusion sector? What existing initiatives, obstacles, and needs do librarians have? What are the needs of the targeting audiences, people with a migration background? And how to share and perpetuate expertise that have been developed in our European countries. So the library project is co-funded by the European Union and implemented with a consortium of organizations, among which Anvita, EBLIDA, and ACV are also here today. And it's implemented in France, Poland, Italy, Romania, Latvia. Currently, we are supporting 50 cities in Europe, together with the libraries and a partnership with a local organization working with migrant people, in developing new strategies and adapting their library services to this specific audience. And of course, the idea is also to share good practices among our European countries. And also, EBLIDA is helping in supporting, in disseminating all the tools we develop at the European scale. So what we deliver, first, it will be like 50 local strategies the local partnerships have been working on to adapt the services of libraries and create partnerships at the local stage in order to foster the inclusion of migrant people. We will also produce a manual which will gather all the methodologies and explain the methodology we used to create these partnerships and these strategies. At BSF, we are currently developing 4 mediation toolkits which gather all the good practices we've collected during the first phase of the project, with activities librarians can implement in the library for the migrant public, also with tips and recommendations on how to deal with the different cases that can occur when hosting migrant publics. We also created a training for librarians which will explain those tools and focus on specific case situation, and also support them in understanding multiculturality. Soon there will also be a LinkedIn community of practice that will be available for all the participants of the project to exchange and share good practices and support each other on this topic. And finally, the ePanema page of EBLIDA has been enriched with a new page which focused on the topic of migration and on which we gathered a lot of examples of libraries we implemented projects on the topic of migration, as well as all the resources we collected during the first phase of the project, which started 1 year ago. So it aims to be a really useful resource hub for any libraries who wants to work on the migration topic. So if you want to access all these resources and also ask any question, you can contact us on this page. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Alex Serbin.
Hi, I'm Oksana Bruy. We are from the Yaroslav Mudry National Library of Ukraine.
We are here today to inspire each of you to be leaders in your libraries, your communities, and your countries. And we hope that the experience of Ukrainian libraries will be just that, inspiring. In our experience, when we talk about library leadership, we mean some key points.
The first key point is that as a social institution, the library is involved in all spheres of an individual, a local community or institution and society. We believe it exists in every country. Libraries solve the challenges and needs of people, communities, and society. During the war, Ukrainian libraries proved this one again.
Just one example. Everyone knows that if you need verified information, if you need books, you should go to the library. But what do you do if it's dangerous off the street? In Ukraine, you can hide from Russian missiles in the underground, and librarians will come to you with books, as in Kharkiv. Or you can go to the library and hide in the shelter, as in the library of Kyiv Polytechnical University.
The second key point is about leadership of national libraries. The true national library isn't about itself, but about vision and real action for all libraries in the country.
The Mudry Library is just that, the true national library, because we have a vision and we work hard to make it a reality. First of all, our activities are aimed at overcoming the challenges facing all Ukrainian libraries, and most of our projects are at the all Ukrainian level.
The third key point is about the leadership of professional NGOs, such as the Ukrainian Library Association. In wartime, when society and the professional library community face many new challenges, ULA finds solutions to the resilience of the Ukrainian library community and helps librarians meet the challenges.
At the beginning of the full-scale invasion, when some stale institutions were still paralyzed, the Ukrainian Library Association established and maintained contacts with foreign and international organizations and initiatives to support Ukraine, to connect foreign libraries with Ukrainian libraries and to spread the truth about the war of the world. Many important projects were born and realized from this activity.
Finally, the fourth key point is about the most important task of a leader in wartime. It's to understand how to empower people in the team to be resilient and to do that, because resilience is vital for us in Ukraine right now. We believe that it is the resilience of leaders that leads to the success of libraries in the most difficult times and leads to the leadership of libraries in the community and in society.
Indeed, the resilience of library leaders is very important to understand and implement it. But that's a separate conversation for another time. This may be the topic for our speech at the next EBLIDA conference next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Дякуємо, дякуємо.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marieke Willems, Research Associate at the Lisbon Council, and I'm very excited to present the Librarian Toolkit for Value Co-Creation and Social Innovation for a New Generation of European Libraries. As we've heard today, and especially the speech before me, libraries are the pillars of democracy and social inclusion. Societal challenges, however, are growing and community needs are changing. Libraries are expected to adapt. The traditional model where public services are designed top-down is no longer appropriate. There is a need for a demand-driven design of library service. In comes Librarian, a 3-year Horizon Europe-funded project on value co-creation and social innovation for a new generation of European libraries. The 10-partner consortium of research organizations, technology providers, think tanks, and its stakeholder panel with library experts aims to provide a theoretical framework, new evidence and metrics, policy recommendations and tools. Now, looking at those policy recommendations and tools, the librarian policy pillar has 3 strands of activities to actively empower innovators in libraries, both policymakers and practitioners. First, we provide policy recommendations grounded in research. Recommendations are published and widely disseminated in policy briefs and discussed at policy roundtables. Second, we offer structured knowledge exchange, good practices, mutual learning, and a stakeholder panel to connect practitioners and researchers. And third,
we track progress and incentivize implementation through the policy tracker to see who's applying what and where. These three strands of activities to empower innovators and libraries come together in the Librarian Toolkit. The consortium worked hard the last few days. They worked hard to the soft launch of the toolkit for today, so to provide you with early access at this stage of data collection. You can access it now. The toolkit offers 3 tools to support action: the policy tracker, the What Works database, and the research knowledge base. It is designed for library staff, policymakers, and researchers, and offers 3 practical tools to foster co-creation and innovation in your library. So let's take a closer look at each one of them. The policy tracker. This shows how EU-level recommendations, such as the 2023 EBLIDA and Council of Europe's recommendation on library legislation, are being adopted in national policies and strategies. It uses yes-no indicators, as you can see on the left, aligned with library and research areas, and links to existing evidence, plans, policies, and laws, which you can see on the right side. It allows cross-country comparisons, helping librarians see where they stand and what's possible. Now, the What Works database. This is a living collection of good practices from across Europe. You can search by topic, as you can see on the left, and explore detailed case studies. What worked, who was involved, and what challenges they faced, and what lessons were learned. It is a toolbox of real-world ideas that you can, of course, adapt. And then, for those wanting to dig even deeper, we've curated over 5,000 academic publications used in the Librarian project on co-creation, service design, and innovation in the public sector. Co-creation is both an art and a science, so let's do that together. If you have practices to share, policy updates, or want to join us in Alcalá, we'd love to hear from you. So reach out on info@librarian.eu. And then, of course, we invite you to enter the toolkit and download our very first policy brief. You can reach me on the email. Thanks.
That's amazing. It's 4 o'clock precisely. I think we really need to give a great hand to our speakers. The threat of the little bell obviously worked. Right, we now... Okay, I'll stop. Yeah, no. I'm sure that many of us would have liked to ask some questions to our 12 speakers. Because of the format, that was not possible, but now there is the possibility. So for the next 55 minutes or so, downstairs where we've had coffee, there should be some more coffee, and you will be, each of our speakers will be standing at a designated table, and you are very, very welcome. You are encouraged to go and speak to them and to hear a little bit more about the projects, the presentations, and so forth. But so we have an hour downstairs approximately, and if I could ask you to be back here 5 minutes to 5 for some final comments from our president, Anna Winters, and yeah, enjoy the next hour and have some good talks. See you later.